Yo, what's up, duelists? Real quick, before we get into the top 16 deck list, I just wanted to say a huge thank you, a huge shout out to Yggdrasil Materials for the beautiful free donation gifts that they give to the community, to you guys, for these RBET events. They go a long way, they go above and beyond to make sure these events are unique and special. Every single one is unique and special for the players and for the community. So show them some love on Instagram. They're going to be posting something pretty cool on Friday. Don't miss out on that. And they will be joining us at the future RBETs for the rest of this year. So don't miss out on that as well. See you guys in the deck list. All right, boys, deck list time. Before we get into that, this is the Sunday, day 2 RBET Top Cut deck list. There were 2 RBETs last weekend, one on Saturday, one on Sunday. These are the Top Cut deck lists from Sunday. You guys, you already know, they're fire. Let's just get right into it. All right, the 8th place is Enye Gilmore. I don't know if I'm pronouncing your name right. I'm super sorry, but he's super OG. He top cutted SJC Edison in 2010, I believe, with Machina Gadgets. I have a little bit of intel on this deck, but Book of Moon was incredibly popular over the weekend in Blackwings. Basically, this deck, this exact list, I think put like 5 or 6 people into top cut over the course of the weekend. The foundation of this was based off of, I believe it was Spooner Boy's Vayu Turbo list that was using 2 Book of Moons was the foundation for this, and then Ricky adapted that to Vayu Turbo, and then that was adapted to Blackwings. You get the idea. The idea is that it has 2 Book of Moons in the main, and then the side deck is pretty similar across the board. It looks like Enye elected to go with Possessed Dark Soul instead of pulling the rug to help deal with the frog matchup. Pretty similar style of effect. You just take the dupe frogs. Possessed Dark Soul is a little bit weaker against the monarchs, a little bit better against the heavier frog cores. So it just depends on what you fear more. Possessed Dark Soul also has the sort of upside of being a dark, so it can fuel Dark Arm Dragon, and it can also fuel Liver Darkness. And Possessed Dark Soul also has the upside of actually being pretty good against some other decks too, namely X-Sabers. This card's pretty good against X-Sabers, so really solid stuff from Enye here. Blackwings is definitely the deck to beat if you're going into Edison format, and while it didn't take either of the titles from both days, it definitely is a deck that you have to have on your radar going into the weekend. You're going to play against it at least 2 to 3 times, and you're going to need to have a good game plan and a good side plan against it because it's a very popular deck, it's a very aggressive deck, and it's a very fun deck, so a lot of people like to play it. I mean, it just really ticks all the boxes. It's very interactive thanks to Icarus Attack, and it's not really like one of those, it's not really, how do I say this? It's not a deck you're not going to see. It's not going to be a deck that like, oh, this weekend no one decided to bring it, like Gigavize or whatever. This is definitely going to be a deck that's going to be at every tournament, probably for the rest of Edison format's existence, which is fine. The deck's sick. Shout out to Enye for pulling up with something other than Machina Gadgets, which I know he's played in the past. I believe he's topped RBT in the past, and that's what he topped the Shonen with in 2010. Moving on, the next deck list is Harrison Jong, I believe. I'm sorry if I'm pronouncing your last name wrong. Yes, once again. But yes, very similar deck list, almost identical. The only changes are 2 fissures here in the side, Mind, Raikou, and Dinah in the side. Over, I believe, I forget, and then Legacy plus Jar over the 2 books. I do think that Legacy and Jar are really strong in this deck, especially because post-board you go up to 5 hand traps with Titi Crow, 6 if you count Gorz as a hand trap. I do, personally. So I do think Legacy and Jar are really strong in Blackwings. I still personally think that list from Hector, HT19 with the 6 Legacy and Jar total is still a very, very strong list, and it's excellent in the mirror match and against Vayu Turbo. That being said, it's a marginal difference here or there. Congratulations to Harrison on topping RBET. I like to see, or not like to see, but I see a lot of players siding Mind Control alongside Raikou so that when they take a hamster, they have a Raikou to get. Pretty interesting. I don't know how good that is. Raikou's another out to Consecrated, which can come up. That's pretty much it. All right, moving on. Next list. Next list is going to be Homam Jamal. So this was another interesting sort of thing that happened this week, or this past weekend, was Frog Monarchs kind of made a big comeback, like just in a big way. Frog Monarchs topped the Saturday tournament, and Homam Jamal topped the Sunday tournament with Frog Monarchs with a pretty similar list. The big differences here is the monarch count is different from the Saturday tournament. Only 2 Ryza, only 2 Thestalos, and no Zaborg. So significantly less monarchs. He's electing to play the Unifrog in the main. He's playing triple Threatening Roar and double Nobleman in the main. And he is main decking only 2 Faders. So a pretty interesting list. I do like it. I do like these types of lists a lot. They really punish big OTK decks because you have a lot of ways to just stop their OTK push. And then on your turn, you can like Soul Exchange plus Enemy Controller plus Monarch, do some crazy comeback plays, and just claw your way back into just about any game. That, or you can just Dark Dust Spirit and wipe everything out. Light and Darkness Dragon is also a great tournament card. It's great against Blackwings, which, again, I think is one of those decks you have to be prepared for. You have to have a good game into. And Light and Darkness Dragon is pretty good against Blackwings. I'm not going to lie. It usually gets a card or 2 out of them, and then it gets you a Monster Reborn after that. You really can't ask for much more in one of the most popular matchups. And yeah, it's just a solid card. It works well with Soul Exchange, works well with Enemy Controller, works well with a few other things. The sideboard is where things get pretty interesting. I didn't have it on Edison format. Oh my gosh. I'm so unprofessional. But yeah, the sideboard is where things get interesting. We got the Electric Virus that can steal a dragon or machine. Cool card. I love this card. I hate when it's used against me, but I do love it. Double Cyber Dragon, that gets you special summon in case your Treeborns get banished. Bestiari and Laquari to side against Gladiator Bees, so you can take their Glads and then tag them out. Double Dust Tornado, deal with back row. Double Crow and a Soul Release to deal with the graveyard. Snowman Eater, I don't really know what this is for, but it can give you an extra body. It's good against Blackwings. It's pretty good against like hero decks, like Hero Beat and stuff like that too. And it's like good enough versus Glads a lot of the time that you just bring it in. But yeah, 1 Possessed Dark Soul for the mirror, triple Vanities for the mirror. Looks like he was very prepared for Frogs, Glads, and the main deck looks pretty hot versus Blackwings. So can't really say much about any other matchups, but I do find that this deck does pretty well into the Vayu Turbos of the format as well too. So just something like just Ryza on a fucking Hamster or Raikou is usually enough to set them back so far that it's pretty crushing. That deck is very reliant on its normal summon, and if it doesn't have one of its power plays like pulling the rug post board, it can be a tricky one. This can definitely be one of the more tricky matchups, especially because of that triple Soul Exchange. Soul Exchange is exceptional at dealing with cards like Fossil Dyna, dealing with cards like Vanity's Fiend, even like game 1 cards like Christia. Just anything that's in your way, Darkarm Dragon, JD, whatever. You can just clear it instantly and then summon your Monarch and be on your way. It also works well with Substitute and Enemy Controller. So yeah, definitely one of the more interactive and more powerful comeback cards in this entire format. There really isn't anything like Soul Exchange into Thestalos or Soul Exchange into Lad. That feels like one of the best things you can be doing in the format. So pretty cool to see this sort of classic Frog Monarch deck make a resurgence. It's definitely on a different page from the Miracle Fusion Frog deck, which is a little bit weaker to Oppression. It's on a different page from the Frog Combo deck, which is incredibly weak to Oppression. It's a much more like grindy, interactive version of the Frog deck that I think a lot of people may find fun to play against just because it's something fresh and something new. So shout out to Homam Jamal. He has been playing variations of Frog decks for a minute now. I believe his most recent top was with like Fish, Coelacanth Fish, which is really cool. Very powerful duelist. Definitely don't want to find yourself on the other side of the 2 players. Yggdrasil Matt from Homam Jamal. All right, moving on. Next top 8 player, Brian Velez. Brian actually topped both Saturday and Sunday, which is an incredible feat. Like, that is just, damn, what a machine. And he was using Blackwings, this time with triple Legacy of Yatagarasu. Did not want to be caught with a Jar of Greed against a Yamada Dragon. But yeah, triple Legacy, triple D-Prison, keeping it simple. No Starlight Road in the main or the side, but he's got the My Body's a Shield to help defend his monsters. Deck devs staying in the sideboard for this one, as well as the Mind Control and the Knock. The day prior, Saturday, he topped with Gladiator Beast, so showing a lot of range as a player, being able to top RBET with Glads and then immediately turn around and top it with Blackwings that's very challenging. I can't lie. That's very, very challenging. But yeah, once again, if you're coming to RBT, if you're coming to an Edison format tournament, you gotta prepare for this deck. If you're not prepared for this deck, it's gonna mess your shit up. It's really gonna mix your shit up. Shout out to Brian. Very impressive stuff from him. I'm excited to see more from him in the future, especially at RBET Rulers coming up, now that all these players have earned their invite. The next player, hashtag free pizza. I didn't know what he was playing when I recorded the Saturday video, so I thought that there was only one Vayu Turbo in all of the top cuts. Turns out there was two, and one of them was played by Pizza. Some of you may know him as Anthony Desai. Now, because the RBETs are no longer Konami sanctioned, thank God, we were able to allow Pizza to participate in the tournaments, and he made it all the way to the top cut because he's a fucking great player, and he deserves to play the game. I don't know what to tell you guys. But yeah, if you guys haven't caught up on the whole thing that happened with Konami and Pizza, it's pretty insane. He was banned by Konami from Konami events for making a post on Facebook about selling a Tengu mat. Allegedly. It's not even proven that he was the one who made the post. He didn't get caught violating any terms of service because there's nothing in Konami's terms of service about making posts on Facebook. And there's nothing in Konami's terms of service about trying to get value out of the fucking dog shit prizing that they give you. So I'm very, very happy that Pizza was able to win some actually good prizing from this event and doesn't have to worry about the people throwing this event fucking stalking him on Facebook, because that's insane. So yeah, crazy stuff. It really, really, part of the reason why RBET is no longer a Konami affiliated tournament is because that company is run so incredibly poorly. I can't even begin to describe. And part of the reason why people have such a good time at RBET is because we are doing exactly what should be done by Konami. And honestly, I wish that they would learn something from all this. I wish that they, as a company, the people who manage their events, would look to RBET and at least improve their pricing, for the love of God. That would be really, really nice to see that for some of the players. And unban Pizza, because he did nothing wrong. They have no proof that he did anything that violates their term of service. And it's just fucking draconian and weird to be having your paid staff stalk players' Facebook and try to find things that they can ban them for, instead of just taking that funds that you're using paying staff to do that, reallocating that to the prizing so you don't have to worry about any of that shit to begin with. Fucking insane. I could rant on about it for days. Anyway, this list, we've seen this exact deck list, I believe, before. I don't know where. Just kidding. This is basically James Ark's Vayu Turbo list from 2021 with a Chaos Sorcerer, a Return, and 2 deck devs. This deck has been doing pretty well in Edison format. Less well lately. Definitely less well lately, surprisingly. But yeah, it does pretty well in Edison format. I'll say it's a solid deck. Sideboard looks pretty straightforward. Triple Dust Tornado is interesting. I see a lot of people maining Dust Tornadoes. Maybe if you're siding 3 of them, potentially you might even want to main one. I'm not really sure. The card seems very strong into Raikou, although Raikou's popularity is definitely decreased. It's also pretty good against the Frog deck, since they are playing trap cards that you want to hit in the end phase. And it's also pretty good against Blackwings, being able to clear that Black Whirlwind. Against the hero decks, you can hit their Future Fusion. There's a lot of key cards, maybe Skyscraper if it's hero beat, maybe Skill Drain if it's hero beat. There's a lot of key cards that Dust Tornado can hit in game 1. It's not really dead in many matchups, so against Gladiator Beasts, you're pretty happy to get rid of their back row as well. So I'm curious to see if this gets moving forward into the main deck of these Vayu Turbo decks. Taking a huge gamble here, main decking double deck dev. I think while deck dev is good against Blackwings, it has something like 7 targets, I believe, 8 if you count Vayu. You know what I mean? Like, That's like deck dev is probably worse against some decks than Dust Tornado is against most decks. You know what I mean? I don't know. High skills, or not high skill, high ceiling, low floor. There we go. High ceiling, low floor. Side decking Solemn, Mind Control, Kaiku the Ghost Destroyer makes sense to me. All these very solid picks. I do like Kaiku the Ghost Destroyer. He protects you from DD Crow, and he also fights against other Vayus, Necro Gardenas, Lightsworn decks, that sort of thing. Speaking of which, no, never mind. We're still on the other third and fourth place, which is Chris playing Blackwings. Very similar list to Harrison, except he was citing the Book of Moons. So yeah, Book of Moon, huge comeback. I think people were just, I don't know, they were soft on it for a while because it was good against, or it's not ideal against a lot of the Raikou decks, but Raikou decks are kind of on a downtick and combo decks are kind of on an uptick. And the decks that beat combo decks, like Glads, are also on an uptick, which means Book of Moon is back, baby. If you have Champion Pack 1s, well, they're probably not going to get much higher because I don't know anyone who wants to pay $1,000 for a super rare personally, but you know how it is. You know how it is. Very solid list. People may be wondering why Blackwings does play Fissure. It is because there are certain decks, namely Amaryllis, that will put up the card Consecrated Light, and then they will try to defend it with a card like Titanial. So Fissure is non-targeting, and it destroys the lowest attack monster, so it'll clear that Consecrated Light even if Titanial is in play. That's the big thing with Fissure, is it clears Consecrated Light no matter what else is in play, and it's non-targeting, so it gets around Titanial. That's why people play Fissure in Edison format. It's also not a bad spot removal spell in the mirror match and up against Glads. I believe that most players will be siding them in some capacity versus those decks as well. It can also help you clear a Machina Fortress, although usually he's accompanied by a gear frame. So yeah, solid stuff to Chris. Not much to say about this other than what I said about the previous lists, but happy to see him top. He said in the comment section of the last video that we should ban Cold Wave JD, and you guys already know what got second place as a result of that. It is Min's Lightsworn deck, pure Lightsworn. Lightsworn had a great weekend. On Saturday, it outplaced Blackwings, and on Sunday, it outplaced Blackwings, falling just short both times of taking down the entire tournament. All three Lightsworn lists over the course of the weekend were on Triple Wolf, but this one in particular is on some interesting technology, which we will discuss. 41 cards, it makes a little bit of sense in Lightsworn. However, come on, man. You want to see recharge every game. Just cut a Threatening Roar. You don't need the third Threatening Roar that bad. You know what I mean? Maybe he has 3 supers, he wants to flex them, they're misprints, you know, that sort of shit. Maybe he has only one shown in Gold Sark. I'm sure you can find a 41st card to cut here. And you normally I'd say, okay, maybe Lightsworn's scared of decking out, but motherfucker's playing 3 Pot of Avarice. He's not going to deck out, all right? You're not going to deck out. You got 3 Pot of Avarice. You're fine. You're going to be okay. Find a card to cut so you see Solar Recharge more often. And I hate to say it, he got second place. It's a great placement, you know, going 6-1, but potentially could have gone 7-0 had he seen Solar Recharge that 1 extra %. You know what I mean? So that's it really is the difference between winning and losing tournaments sometimes. Whether it was this time or not, I don't know. You guys be the judge. Go check out the tournament coverage, the tournament footage, and you can watch his games. I believe we covered at least 2 of his matches. Now, this is something that we've seen of Lightsworn decks lately. I believe Monado Boy was the first person to sort of top with this. Just 10 floodgates in the sideboard of Lightsworns. People usually don't side in Heavy Storm, Space Typhoon against Lightsworns. So your floodgates are usually free to walk game 2 specifically. Now, people are catching on to this. Maybe they might leave in their Heavy Storm. Who knows? But for the time being, usually people are siding out Heavy Storm at the very least, if not Space Typhoon as well, versus Lightsworn decks. One thing about this Lightsworn deck is his Recursion, not Beckoning, not Monster Reincarnation, not Glorious Illusion or Call of the Haunted, which we have seen starting from ×2, but from a lot of other builds recently as well. No Graganith, no Hamster. Well, that's not a Recursion. Neither is Graganith, but you get what I'm saying. The Recursion lies solely on Pot of Avarice. There are a few rulings you guys should know if you copy this deck list about Pot of Avarice. You can't activate it if you have 1 or less cards in the deck. Something worth mentioning. And that situation, I believe, came up on camera where he had an opportunity to top deck a Pot of Avarice, but he would have had 1 card left in deck, and as a result, he died of deck out. Spoiler alert, in the grand finals of this tournament. So, yeah, that sort of sucks. What can I say? But maybe Pot of Avarice is good. Maybe it's not good. I know Juan, aka Swagger, aka Juan, really likes Pot of Avarice in this deck, so possibly it's cooking. Got all the way to second place at RBET with it, so that's pretty solid. Triple Celestia, triple Raikou. Yeah, I mean, Celestia is amazing. It's a really, really strong card. It's one of the strongest cards in the format. Milling 4 is incredible when you have 5 cards you actively really want to hit, and you have 3 Pot of Avarice where you can like reload those cards late game and then have a really dense chance of like hitting Double Wolf or something like that with a Celestia Mill. And then popping 2 cards on the summon is like, this is like your themed Geyseris. It's very strong. So the only thing about Celestia is going second. Sometimes you can lack the initiative to do it because this deck is so normal summon heavy. It looks like Min's got it down to 11 normal summons if you don't count Plague Necro, which is pretty solid. The other 2 Lightsworn decks that made top cut were not playing Plague, but they were playing Christia and Herald, so that makes sense. Still got the Cold Wave, still got the JDs, you know, you gotta have the busted shit, right? Goldsark to search whatever you need. Only 1 makes sense. I guess you don't really want to be drawing it mid-game that much. It's a little weak to draw after turn 1. Anyway, sideboard looks fairly straightforward. A random Needle Ceiling to couple with the Torrential and Mirror Force as a third sweeper beyond the Judgment Dragons and Celestias as well. I like this list a lot, except for that it's 41 cards. I would probably just cut a card. I'd probably cut like a Raikou or something. I just don't see why you need the 41st card. I'd rather see the Solar Recharge as much as possible. That's just my cup of tea, or not cup of tea, 2 cents. What is it? That would be more my cup of tea. There we go. If you guys copy this list, enjoy it, have a good time. A couple things to note about the extra deck here that I wanted to mention. I don't believe he was playing Tempest Magician, which is actually a card I think that all Lightsworn players should at least consider. Plague plus Lila makes Tempest Magician, and it'll allow you to pitch additional names, burn your opponent down, and then game shot them with JD. So, yeah, Tempest Magician, always consider it. I actually think it's pretty solid in Lightsworn decks in general. I've had it come up for me quite a bit. Probably more in this style of list than Avenging Knight. Avenging Knight does come up with Raikou and... Wait, does it come up? Yeah, it does. It comes up with Raikou and a 4-star. Or it comes up with 2 3-stars, like Lumina Arceus. So that does come up. And Avenging Knight can hold up Honest. But I do think that Tempest Magician comes up more than some of these other guys might. I don't know. Maybe more than Red Dragon or Thought Ruler or something like that. But solid stuff to min. Almost closing it out, almost clutching it. Second place is still great, still incredible. Very difficult field. You know, we have like some of the top players in the game right now. We got Pizza, we got Enye, we got Homam Jamal, and then of course some newcomers here. Brian and Harrison and Chris. I believe Chris might have topped one before. Same thing with Harrison. But Brian topping back to back. That's fucking terrifying. That's some real shit right there. So yeah, definitely when faced with this tough competition, able to take them all down with Lightsworn that ain't no easy feat. But first place, he truly cooked. First place, undefeated, Jake Mattern with Gladiator Beasts. Who would have thought Gladiator Beasts would take down a second RBET in our lifetime? Not me. Not me. Yeah, he didn't lose a single match. Although some of the matches, one of the matches in particular, was gifted to him. But he played so damn well. Watching him play on stream was really, really cool. There were several instances of him doing plays that I think a lot of players only dream about, like compulsory to reuse Gores and then summon it a second time to get another token, that sort of thing. Decking out his opponent in the finals, which is a very cool way to win a game, especially when you're on a feature match in front of about roughly 500 average live viewers. So really, really cool stuff from Jake here. He's been playing Gladiator Beasts for fucking ever, literally a decade and a half. He actually more than that now. I believe he topped the Shonen back in 2010 with Gladiator Beasts as well, and it was a very similar list. He was playing Gores and Rescue Cat back then as well. I remember thinking that Rescue Cat was busted and Gores was busted in Glads because I saw his list and I was like, yeah, that's the stuff. And ever since then, I've played Gores on and off in Glads to some degree of success. Few interesting things. One Shrink. I don't really know why the one Shrink.
I don't know. I don't get it. It's like it's an interesting trick, but maybe you side it out. Maybe you don't want more than one ever. Maybe it's just a way to play through bottomless / kill stuff. I don't know. Only one Darius, double Sam Knight. He's a big fan of double Sam Knight off of the Rescue Cat. Sam Knight's a pretty strong Glad when you don't draw it, but when you do draw it, it's a little bit underwhelming. There was definitely a game on camera where he went through double Equest and his only Darius. I do like having the second Darius in Glad decks, but I understand why you wouldn't want to have too many middling normal summons, and you really do have to make some decisions when you've decided you want double Sam Knight, double Ready Ari in the main. Usually, people only main one Ready Ari or one Sam Knight, so something has to go. You're only really allowed 13 normal summons, I believe is what he's playing with here, and then 14th summon would be the Gores here. So yeah, I think 13's actually might be a little low. It's probably fine. Yeah, it's probably fine. Better a little low, and then you just have a handful of removal. He's not playing Starlight Road in the main, which is interesting. So when he's setting multiple, he's relying on Legacy of Yatagarasu or recurables like War Chariot to get him the value chainables like Dust Shoot as well. He's always on the Call of the Haunted. I can't recommend Gladiator Beast players not playing this card. It's actually so strong. It's literally just build your own Icarus attack by bringing back Geyseris, because this is anytime this monster is special summoned, you get a pop 2 cards, which is really strong. The side deck is interesting. Triple Trap Hole. This is for Blackwings. Just great card against Blackwings. Stop their turn. Stop slip summons too, which is interesting. I don't know if that comes up a lot, but yeah, interesting. He sided it in against Lightsworns and then had a very interesting interaction come up in the finals where his opponent tried to summon an Arcus and then he tried to Trap Hole it, and Trap Hole does actually target. So it did not work against the Arcus there. Unlike Bottomless Trap Hole, which has a better condition, in my opinion, is anytime your opponent summons a monster, whether that's special, flip, or normal, and it counts multiple monsters, it banishes all of those monsters that have 1500 or more attack. So, for example, if he was facing the mirror, opponent goes Rescue Cat, summons double Sam Knight, Bottomless Trap Hole would banish both of those Sam Knights. And as a result of this style of effect, Bottomless Trap Hole does not target. So this gets around stuff like Thought Ruler Archfiend, or Arcus if it was pumped up for whatever reason. You get the idea. Whereas Trap Hole does target, and also Trap Hole can't be used on a special summon. So this can't be used on like Cyber Dragon, that sort of thing, basically. So yeah, it's definitely worth noting that Trap Hole has some significant drawbacks. While it can hit weaker monsters, generally you don't really care about like Trap Hole on anything that isn't like it does come up versus like normal summon Kalut with Whirlwind out or whatever. But yeah, generally speaking, you don't care about a monster being 1300 in play more than you care about like not targeting and that sort of thing. So rulings to know, basically. Ancient Forest, this is another card that people may have questions about. This works with Gladiator Beasts. When they attack at the end of the battle phase, you can basically choose, I believe, to tag out the Gladiator Beast or have it be destroyed. So if you tag out the Gladiator Beast, let's say you have Ancient Forest out, you attack with the Laquari, you tag out your Laquari, and then you have a new Glad in play, that monster would not be destroyed because that is not the monster that attacked. So this is just a one-sided floodgate. It also neutralizes Rykos and flip effect monsters, so that's kind of cool. It can flip Dynas face up too if people said that against you. Jujitsu Masters, Snowman Eaters, it just straight up kills Snowman Eaters, which is nice. There's a lot of applications for this card. I do like it. It also, against the sort of Dupe Frog thing, you can put them in attack position and then like maybe book one of them or smashing ground one of them and then deal more damage. Comes up here and there. I don't know if you'd side this card against frogs, but it mostly comes in against like Raikou decks, I'd assume. DD Assailant, this is a just strong card against Blackwings. Strong card in the mirror. Strong card that clears big bosses like Christia, Caius, that sort of thing. No questions asked. 1700 attack. It gets around Deck Devastation Virus. That's why this is played over DD Warrior Lady. DD Warrior Lady would be better, like in every sense, because you can choose when to activate this, whereas DD Assailant has to be destroyed by battle in order to activate this. So DD Warrior Lady can banish defense position stuff, or it can banish small stuff like Sangan, whereas DD Assailant doesn't get that luxury. But not being hit by deck dev is pretty important against Blackwings because that is the deck dev matchup. Hoplimus, great card for defending your life total against beatdown decks. Secutor, this is for combo decks. You can Tiger into it. I'm assuming he sides in the third Tiger with the Secutor as a way to just rush down combo decks like Dragon Turbo or Gigavise or the Frog combo decks. Third Chariot, once again for combo decks. 2 Chariots in the main, just because it's not the best against Blackwings. You don't really need to see multiples. And you can tutor it with Sam Knight if you really, really need it. 1 Starlight Road, this is for Icarus attack, undoubtedly. 1 Transmigration Prophecy, shuffle cards back. This can also put back your own cards. I'm not sure how much that comes up, but being able to put back a Rescue Cat sounds kind of cool. And then Twister for Black Whirlwind and Royal Oppression, as well as, I'm assuming, Royal Decree and, I don't know, some other shit. I'm sure there's other skill drain type effects that could be pretty annoying. So, excellent stuff from Jake Mattern. I like this list. I think it's interesting. I think it's got a lot of character to it. He's definitely played with it as much as you humanly can. I think it's interesting he's opted for 0 Trap Stun, 0 Prisma, and instead gone for 3 Dust Tornado, but it makes sense. Dust Tornado has the sort of Legacy of Yatagarasu effect where it's chainable. It can remove Whirlwind. It can remove spell cards like, I don't know, Gear Town, Solidarity from gadgets, that sort of thing. It's chainable into Raikou in a favorable way, whereas Trap Stun isn't. It's not as good into multiple back row, but it's still a solid card. It's still a solid card, and like I was saying earlier, we saw a lot of Blackwing players main decking 1, and we saw the first place list main decking 3. If the meta shapes up to be, pretty heavy Blackwings and like the Frog decks are playing hella trap cards. There's not very many trapless decks in the format, and even the Raikou decks are playing like heavier back row. I think Dust Tornado in the main is probably just the correct decision moving forward. Like, just straight up, you're going to want more chainables into Raikou. You're going to want more ways to cut that Black Whirlwind as soon as possible, and you're going to want just ways to not get fucked over by a Phoenix Wing Wind Blast from a Frog deck when you're trying to make a comeback play. So, yeah, I do think that this deck is incredibly well tuned for the meta. It's incredibly well tested. Jake played exceptionally. This was definitely a skill victory. He outplayed basically all of his opponents on every level, and it was very fun to watch him play. So congratulations to him, and a huge thank you to everyone who came out this past weekend. Huge thank you to Yggdrasil Materials for all the free donation gifts. Go check out their Instagram, Yggdrasil Materials. They are going to be posting something, I think, either later today or on Friday this week. That should be pretty cool. And I forget what else. Shout out to PPG for helping put on this event, and shout out to Level Up Expo for having us. Both great stuff. I have nothing but great things to say. And it was a great experience. So I can't wait for the next RBET Santa Clara. You guys don't want to miss it. It's coming up. Let me pull up the link real quick. Collectors Expo. Okay, there it is. Boom. Check this shit out. Check this shit out right here. RBET. Day 1 registration. You click on that, you see all this. Oh my gosh. How clean is this? It's going to be at Collectors Expo. You don't want to miss it. I'm telling you guys. This is like... These tournaments are gas, dude. No spoilers, but I am going to be competing in a tournament later this year. Because there's going to be at least one opportunity for me to actually play. Not an RBET, but a different tournament. But man, I would kill to be able to play in my own events. Like, literally, I'm throwing the events that I would want to play in. So, and if you guys have any feedback from Las Vegas or from any of the events, we've been improving them every single time. And we always listen to the player feedback. We always try to take into account what people want. We're always working with the community directly to make sure that everything is what makes you guys happy. So, reach out and let us know, and come to the next one. It's going to be fucking sick. See you guys in the next vid. Peace.